Welcome back to a little update video today. We will look today on AMC what we have done during the day. I will also make full update today again, and also I will show how a bottom on AMC should look like. Then we will make a little update on BYND. Are we finished or not? We of course will look at Unity software because the earnings today was perfect. And we also will look at DJT, if DJT is now finished or not. If you're interested, just stay tuned. As always, I'm using the Fractal Method. I will link the explanation video at the end of the video, or you just search for the playlist Fractal Method on my channel. Okay, well, then let's jump into AMC. So today, the full update, the full story of AMC, just also for new people, just in short. AMC is in its megaphone pattern. Of course, we touched it at IPO. We once touched it in March 2020. We didn't touch it before the squeeze in December 2020. We touched it in April 2024. And still the opinion we shouldn't touch it now. Could be wrong, but okay. For the upside, we touched it, of course, at IPO, and around 2015 we broke a little bit over it. But the main touch was our squeeze in 2021, because this was our rejection line. So in the best case for the next chat test or squeeze, this would be our rejection line again. Yeah? I'm one of the persons who are thinking we will do a two-part squeeze. I'm absolutely fine and happy if we're doing a one-part squeeze. I still think we will do a two-part squeeze because I'm tracking 2020 and 2021. How would that look like? Well, exactly what we did back then. First of all, we have to find our V, and then we quite really straight up go to our A, to our first part. How high would it go? Well, we just take the fib from December 2020 to our peak where our A was, and you will see we pulled back quite perfectly at the 618 fib. So if somewhere around down here is our V, our bottom, and we don't want to break this trend line again, because back then you could also draw this trend line and it was a perfect breakout retest. So if we do the same, which I'm thinking, we're taking again our fib from our bottom, wherever it might be, and pull it upside. And you have to look where is the 0.618 touching the trend line again. So in that case, we should be around 122. I mean, we could go a little bit higher, a little bit lower, yeah, but in this range should be our first price target for our A. After that, we will do this pullback. This should be quite quick, yeah, same like in 2020. The thing is, this part here could take a while, just saying. Back then, this took us 110 days. And the fractal method, the theory about this, every fractal is repeating over and over and over again. But it's get slower and bigger. Yeah. So if this took us 110 days, there's a good reason behind that this could maybe take 200 days. So if we're doing that from now till, let's say, April, the second part is most likely next year. Yeah. We won't get a B pullback because we didn't do that in 2021 either. Yeah, well, and then our next target, if it's next year, it would be something around 900, 2000. Sounds stupid, but well. Okay, that's for the full story. Now we look into it, what we have done today. So, I will explain and show today how a bottom in AMC should look like and how it shouldn't look like. Before we do that, I already said yesterday, this triple button is not a V. Yeah. And most likely we will break through it today. Well, we did it. It's just the same thing like here. Yeah. This isn't a V. This is a double button. We will break through it. The same like here. Double button. We will break through it. The same even like on January 29. Triple, quadruple button. We break through it. I will show that in a second. What I mean with we need our button, we need a V. I mean we really word per word. We need something like this. Not something like this or something like this. We need really a sharp V. Yeah? In all our three squeezes, 2021, I will show that in a second, 2024 and 2025, we never made a double button. Double button, quadruple button in AMC, if you see that, that only means, shit, some landmark is missing, we still go lower. Or if you are already at your A, for example, in an uptrend, then a double button is okay. But for a V, it's absolutely not okay. So the thing is, and one important part before we go further, on lower time frames, yeah, 30-minute, 1 hour at least. Yeah, I mean, okay, on the 1 minute or 5 minutes, you can have double buttons. Yeah, but of course, every candle on the weekly will look like a V. Yeah, because it's such a high time frame. But we need a V at least on the 1 hour or 30-minute. So, for example, because the market is still open for 1 hour when I do this video, this right now looks good, yeah, as a V. Yeah, I mean, we are at 127. Yeah, my price target was something between 130 and 122. Everything just not touching this trend line. So this is what I mean with a V. Yeah, one candle bounce upside. So if this today was our V, our button, in the best case, we do till Friday this little micro higher low. This little micro higher low won't break over this trend line. Yeah. If we do that this Friday, we are already in a good place. Just saying. Yeah. Because in the worst case, we're still breaking down and we're only finding the V on Friday. That would be shit. Yeah. So in the best case, we're doing this micro high low. Maybe because we already have we only have 2 days left. Maybe we're doing the bigger high low till Friday. That would be very bullish. Yeah. What do I mean? So micro high low would be under this trend line, nothing higher than 142. Yeah? And holding this higher low, of course. Then doesn't matter if this week or next week, we have to do the bigger higher low. This bigger higher low won't break 1.73. You're not allowed to break this trend line. And then we are doing our A and 0.5 pullback. Yeah. So if this is the bottom, we just have to look where's the 200 EMA, because I think the A peak will reject the 200 EMA. Yeah? So let's say next week when we are doing this, the EMA is at $2. Yeah? If this is the bottom, if the 200 EMA is there, we have to pull back here to 159. And when we did that, not if, when, this is the time where you really have a great chance to squeeze the following Friday or Monday. So let's see. Let's see what we are doing till Friday. So because of the explanation of the examples. So here we have our 3 squeezes in AMC: 2021, April to May 2024, and April to May 2025. And you see, before we go through everything, you see on every single squeeze, yeah, we have here the bottom in January 2021. A single candle, no double bottom, no triple bottom, one single candle on the 1 hour. Here in April 2024, our V on April 16, one single candle on the 1 hour, no triple, no double, no quadruple bottom. And here, the last one in April 4, 2025, one single candle, no double, no triple, whatever. So we really want a V, not a W, not a whatever, a real V. And of course, we have to hold it afterwards. So if we just look at the 2021 squeeze, we did our V, we did here our tiny micro higher low, which we should start hopefully now. Yeah. Then we did the bigger higher low, which maybe if we are quick doing till Friday, otherwise it would be next week. And then we did our A. Yeah. And if we take from our bottom to our A, perfect 0.5 pullback. Yeah. Depends volume and how quick we are. We do that maybe in 2 weeks, maybe. In 2024, you clearly see there wasn't a higher low, okay? But what I already showed, we didn't do a higher low. I mean, not on the 1 hour. You will see it on the 5 minute or 1 minute maybe. But we did our A. Yeah? If you take the fib from the bottom to the peak, 0.618 pullback. And after that, because we didn't do the higher low here, we added a micro higher low here before we had our run to $13. Yeah? Perfectly V under A, perfectly under the 7861. And the smallest squeeze in 2025, sorry for the telephone, our bottom in April 4th, 2025, this whole thing was our higher low, perfectly under the 7.8, 7.86, yeah, also under BYND. And after that, we also added our A before we close. This time, it was near the 0.5, but okay. So that is what I mean. Yeah. We can say maybe we don't need the little higher low here, but if we're not doing the little higher low, we need the A. Yeah. If we're going the long way, we need the little higher low, the big higher low, and the A. Yeah. And especially these 2 parts, yeah, were 2024 and 2025. I'm not tracking these now for our next run. What we want to repeat is this, yeah, because I get if you're really doing something like this and this, it could happen that we're not breaking over $13 again. This would then really take us till next year, the whole thing. Yeah. And it would be a 1-part squeeze because we just would go to $10 or $8, $9. We don't want that. So in that case, we really want to see these landmarks. So for our future till Friday, if this here was the V, don't worry, on the 1 hour, we already broke through it, on the 30-minute not. In the best case, we are holding this level now. We are not touching it. We are not breaking it. We don't do a double bottom. Yeah. We don't do a triple bottom. In the best case, this was the V, and we're doing little micro high low, bigger high low, a pullback, one. Let's see. Okay, so much for AMC. Let's jump into BYND. So for BYND, just little summary. We got the IPO started in the run to see. We made a lower high exactly at the time where AMC and GME did their squeeze in 2021. We did our midpoint, where our next B should be. Then we went to our T, our last time to sell. This line is our next target for A. Then we fell down to our V, most likely, hopefully, for the bullish tracking. And since October till today, we are doing our big high low. In the moment this is finished, we go to our A, which is over, should be over $15 to $25. Yeah? And then we track further. But this is our next target. The only alternative for our bearish tracking, and I don't have one, so I had to take the alternative from my colleague, would mean that in any way this was our T. Yeah. In that way, we have to do new lows, do the higher low again, and. I just can't see that yet. Yeah, just because of a simple reason, if we do that, I would have to adjust this, and you only have one touch point here. I mean, not impossible. I just don't like it. Okay, so now we zoom in. So if we are not doing the bearish tracking, yeah, this higher low, this big higher low, was finished on February the 5th, 2026. Yeah. Here's our M, here's our T. We fell under it where it started in November 21st. We bounce, and right now, and especially gap fill. Here was still a gap between 80 and 66. And till February 5th, we're just doing the micro higher low. Yeah. So I already said, I think in the last videos, we won't break this trend line for the micro higher low. And well, this was clearly our C, the top of our micro higher low. Especially because if you look, you have your V here. You're taking the fib from your bottom to this peak, perfect 0.5 pullback. Then you take the fib from your A bottom to your B peak. It's a 618. It's not that nice, yeah, but still over the 7.86. And then we got our C, yeah. Our lower high, let's go on the 30-minute, maybe we see it better, yeah. Our lower high could be this little thing here. What is absolutely clear is that this here was our M peak, yeah, especially if we're putting the B to M line. And if we just do this trend line, this is also perfectly working. We fell under the M, we came up again. We rejected near this trend line. So I really think this today, this little bounce here, was our little T. So we still have a gap open here between 65 and 66 cents. And if we look where our A should be, near the 78.6, perfect. So I really think we will, in the best case, fill this gap till Friday, maybe already tomorrow. Yeah, because this stock has nothing where you can have to say it has to squeeze Friday, Monday. Yeah, it can do that anytime. But in the best case, you're filling this gap till Friday, not touching 64 cents. Micro higher low is finished, and we would be ready to go. It looks perfect. Of course, if you touch 64 again, Well, then we have to go lower, find a new V and do it again. Yeah. Right now, looks perfect for next week. No financial advice. Yeah. But there is nothing left anymore. Yeah. If we are bullish and if we are still tracking this as a high low, there are no landmarks left. Right now we are micro tracking. There is just nothing left anymore. So let's see. Next one is Unity. So here for Unity, just also a little summary. Unity started its IPO in the run to be. It had its all-time high in November 2021. Then we made our lower high. Midpoint. Midpoint is important because this is our next target now. Yeah. So something over 109. Fell down to our T, last time to sell, which was perfectly our A. Fell down to our V. The V was August 2024. Then we did high low, ran up to our A peak. And then I said we need a pullback 0.618 or 0.5. I didn't expect it that it would be talked so quick, but well, we got it. I also said in the video yesterday, if we're running into earnings, we could knife on earnings. We knifed on earnings today. Yeah. If we look at this right now, we came way lower than 618, but the important part is we didn't touch the 786. So in the best case, this year was the bounce. In the best case. I mean, I bought already some Junes, just in case. No financial advice, of course. We might do, as always, now a little micro higher low. But in general, if I'm not completely wrong, and that happens not very often, our next target is B, over 109. And the thing is, we already know how this run looked like. Half of this run we already saw from IPO. So we don't know how volatile the first part was, but we know how volatile the second part of this was. And in my opinion, we will see this peak latest June this year. Yeah? Then doing the 0.5 pullback. This will take a while, just saying. Back then, this took us 330 days. So maybe this pullback could take you at least 1.5 years, maybe even 2 to 3 years. Yeah, because Fractal is always getting bigger and slower. Let's see. Okay. Last one for today is DJT. So for DJT, also little summary. DJT started its IPO in its higher low. Then it did just 2 candle up ABC to its all-time peak. Then it had a massive lower high. Then it started a massive middle point and a massive T. Yeah, that's important because we also need a big higher low. Yeah? After we finished all that, and after we finished the high, step by step. So in the best case, and what I'm really thinking, we already did our V. Yeah? Our V here on November 2025. And if we zoom in, let's do that. Yeah, November 2025. And also at 2025. And also here, if you're still listening, also here you see 1 candle. Yeah, no double button, no triple button, no quadruple button. Yeah, because of AMC. After the V, we did a perfect high low, micro high low. We did even made a micro high low here. In the moment this was finished, merchant news. So back then I did a little mistake that I said or thought this was A, yeah, because I was too bullish. Yeah. The thing is, we are still under the trend line. We were under T. So yeah, it was quite clear that this was just the peak of a bigger higher low. Yeah. And this bigger higher low, if you look, is finished. Yeah. The problem is, this was our micro higher low. This was our bigger higher low. We still need our big higher low. What I mean with that? This little micro higher low is working for this. Perfect. Yeah, it's only the higher low for the macro higher low, and the macro higher low should be big enough for the LMT. Yeah. So we have still two versions for this. Just because if you look, we have the main trend line here with our C, our M, and our T. Problem is, our T is not high enough. That's why we have two versions. For just the simple version is, this is our main trend line. We just only have two touch points. That means what happened next? We do our big higher low. The top will be around $36, $37. Pullback to the 0.786. Then the big run starts. Yeah, our A should be around 60, our B should be around 80, and then the only question is, are we breaking all-time highs or not? And the question is, are we doing just one candle, or are we doing breakout, retest, B pullback, C? Yeah, we don't know that because it would be the first time. This is not the important trend line. It's the trend line with the rule I added, that if your T is not high enough to touch the trend line, you just make a new trend line for your M and your T. In that case, it would be quicker because you don't only are allowed to go to maximum $23, $25. You're not allowed to break this trend line. Yeah. I mean, okay, the peak of the higher low would be smaller, but because of that, it would be quicker also, in my opinion. Well, and then after that, the big run starts. So, are we finished? Can we go to the big higher low? Well, let's zoom in. So here, this is just from last Friday till today, and it's just a micro higher low. And I think the micro higher low from the big higher low. And in my opinion, whenever we are finishing this micro higher low, we are ready to go. And I could see this till Friday. Yeah? But in my opinion, this isn't finished yet. Yeah? First of all, if we take from the bottom to the peak, our FIB, we are not under the 7.86. Yeah, would be one clue. Second, if we micro track this, and this here was clearly our C, then this is clearly our lower high. Problem starts with this lower high, starting here, is ending here. That means your M can only start here. Here is your M peak, or this would be your M peak, doesn't matter which one you take. But the ending of this M would be here, because it has to go lower where it started. So we have no place for your T other than the little peak today. Yeah. So I really think till Friday, yeah, we still have to fall lower than this where the T started. And if you look, we still have a gap open here, yeah, at $10.88. So I really think till Friday, hopefully till Friday, we will gap fill this. And over the long weekend, whatever happens, Trump will tweet or whatever, yeah, we get something and we should see upside next week if we're doing that. It looks perfect and great. Okay. I think that was everything for today. As always, if you liked it, you can leave a like. Explanation video I will put here, a playlist here. And if you want to see more, you can leave me an abo. Let's see how the weekend is ending. See ya.